The Atlanta Falcons they absolutely needed some defensive help heading into the 2023 NFL draft, as well as the free agency period, and they got it. Absolutely. I really fell in love with what the Falcons did in terms of bringing in some defensive playmakers, and today we're going to get into it as well as the rest of the Atlanta Falcons moves in our latest 2023 Atlanta Falcons free agency recap, and I do apologize. We kind of put all these graphics together a couple days ago, so hopefully we didn't miss any players. If we did, let us know in the comment section down below, and as we do our recap, just remember, it's just business. So, just a recap. And yes, if you're going to try to tell me that you weren't thinking of Monsters vs. Aliens during this entire movie, or, well, you weren't thinking of that movie, excuse me, you're lying to yourself. Come on. So, right now for our little recap, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons. So, starting things out with, yes, they do just have nearly $22 million in cap space. I want to put that in there as a little bit of a caveat to show, hey, this team could still do some things, because you don't need that much cap space to sign somebody, especially heading into the draft and all your draft picks. Probably a little bit closer to $10 million is what you should need, so they could definitely make a move moving forward. Now, so safety Jesse Bates coming over from the Bengals. He signed a 4-year, $64 million deal with the Falcons. I love this because, the Falcons, to me, like the safety position has been one of those that's been very, very interesting because you have, in my mind, a guy that is... Richie Grant to me has kind of been a disappointment. I really don't understand it at this point. I understand that you also got Jalen Hawkins and Javonte Moffett there as well. But overall, I was expecting more from Richie Grant. So getting a guy like Jesse Bates to come on in and do his thing, where last year he had 71 tackles, 4 interceptions, a 76.8 PFF grade, as well as an 86.1 passer rating when thrown at. I'm excited. I think Jesse Bates is going to do a lot of great things for this Atlanta Falcons defense, and I'm really excited about it. Now, bringing in defensive tackle David Onyemata from the Saints was huge. So, yes, you have guys like Grady Jarrett on the inside that are just studs. Really excited about what he continues to do. But combining Grady Jarrett with Onyemata as well as Taquan Graham, Jalen Dalton, all these guys, Caden Ellis too, who we'll get into a second, and Antetokounmpo Ogundeji. Yes, I know I probably didn't even close to get saying that right, but overall, this defensive line, I do think with the right coach, could do some damage. And so, but I love David Onyemata coming over from the Saints, where last year he had 43 tackles, 5 sacks, and 35 pressures, and a 64.0 PFF grade. He was a guy that, he was a good enough run defender, but he also could get after it in the pass game. Him and Grady Jarrett are going to be nasty on the inside. Fantastic. Also, outside linebacker Caden Ellis coming over from the Saints on a 3-year, $21.5 million deal. Didn't really get the time of day for the first couple of years with the Saints, but this last year blew up. 78 total tackles, 7 sacks, 81.5 PFF grade, over an 80.0 run block, or a run defense grade, as well. Fantastic get here. Definitely at a really good price, too, because Caden Ellis is going to come in and do his thing. Now, getting Taylor Heineke from the Commanders on a 2-year, $14 million deal. I get it. I thought, Desmond Ridder was going to be that guy, but this move, I don't know. It definitely makes a little bit of sense, especially when you consider, the fact that, Taylor Heineke is one of those guys that's probably going to be a backup quarterback, maybe a high-end backup at that. So, it makes some sense. Maybe they just want to bring in a guy and see what he can do. But over last year, he had over 1,859 passing yards with 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and an 89.6 passer rating. So, I get it. You want to bring in a good quarterback. Maybe you still go after your guy in the first round. I don't know, but you bring in Taylor Heineke, who I'm really excited about. Also, you bring in Mike Hughes from the Lions on a 2-year, $7 million deal. I felt like this was a really good get, mainly because of the price tag here. Mike Hughes, when he's been given the opportunity, can ball. Like, he can straight up ball. Last year, 51 tackles, a pass deflection, as well as a 59.9 PFF grade. I think in the slot, he's going to be very interesting, somebody to watch, but I really do like the value there. Also loving the value in getting wide receiver Matt Collins from the Raiders on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal, coming off his best year in the NFL, where he had 57 catches, 690 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I definitely think that these two contracts between Hughes and Hollins was absolutely huge. Great value as well. Tay Davis from the Browns on a 1-year, $1.2 million deal. Special teams guy, maybe a guy that can come in and start for you if you need him to. I love it there. Also, you traded a 7th round pick in 2023 for Jonnu Smith. I love it. Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. This is nasty. This is just getting straight up nasty. But overall, 27 catches, 245 yards for Jonnu Smith. I really like that. So who did you lose? That's where we are now. So Chuma Edoga. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Edoga. There we go. Chuma Edoga. I apologize. He signed a 1-year, $12.3 million deal with the Cowboys. Last year, played 55 snaps, had a penalty, a pressure, and a 77.8 PFF grade. I think he's a guy that you're excited about, him going to the Cowboys, mainly because, I mean, still there, he could definitely do some things. I think he's probably going to be a starter, especially with that contract with the Cowboys. It is tough overall, but I feel like the rest of this offensive line is going to be okay with what the Falcons did. Also, Isaiah Oliver signing a 2-year, $6.75 million contract with the 49ers. I mean, it does suck to watch him go, but 37 tackles, an interception, and a 77.9 PFF grade. I mean, it is what it is. You got to be able to continue and rebuild this defense, so I guess I get it. So quarterback Marcus Mariota also signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Eagles. Last year, over 2,200 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, aside of when he's not throwing passes, by the way, the pass that he threw towards the end of last year where he was basically on his back, like, it was impressive. We got to be able to give the man a little bit of credit, but overall, I think that a change of scenery will be pretty good for Marcus Mariota. Cornerback Michael Ford on a 1-year deal. He's coming in on a $1.5 million deal from the Browns. At 15 total tackles last year, 64.6 PFF grade. I think he's going to find a really good spot there in the Browns. So coming over to Cleveland there, or going over to Cleveland, I definitely think he's going to be a guy that, like I said, you're excited for maybe, and hopefully he gets more of an opportunity. Who did you bring back? Well, so Caleb McGarry signed a huge 3-year, $34.5 million contract where he played over 1,000 snaps last year for you. I mean, it's an absolute great get. You're not overspending for a right tackle. I love it. Also, you resigned Keith Smith, the fullback, on a 1-year, $2.35 million contract. A good run blocker, as well as had 10 total yards of offense last year. You also bring back Cornell Armstrong, who I liked on a 1-year, $1.2 million deal where he had 33 tackles and a 57.2 PFF grade. You also re-signed right tackle Jermaine Afadi on a 1-year deal. I do like this because I do think you need to be able to bring in guys that will provide depth for you, so I do get it. Also, the man of the hour, Chris Lindstrom, 5-year, $102.5 million contract. I mean, they don't get better than Chris Lindstrom, so I like it. Also, you finally re-signed Bradley Pinion, the punter, on a 3-year, $8.65 million deal, where last year he had 62 punts for over 2,800 yards, 45.9 average. I think he had over a 70.0, or it was like over a 70-yard punt last year, too, so I definitely really like that signing as well. So, the Falcons really doubling and tripling down on the defense here. I really like it. I think that frees them up to do best player available when you get into the draft, because I mean there's going to be a run on quarterbacks, just how it goes, but I think overall the Falcons are going to be in a spot where they can go best player available. They don't have to force anything and they can go from there, but that is it. That is our 2023 Atlanta Falcons free agency recap. Let us know what you guys think, and make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We'd love all of you. Also in the comment section, or in the description, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com, or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover. But let us know what you guys think about our 2023 Atlanta Falcons free agency recap.